Alright, so last time we stole an alien artifact, and now we gotta wait till our getaway car arrives.
Yeah, some jerk wasn't actually waiting to pick us up to take us away, so instead, now we have to just not die until they get here. Some friends we have, huh?
Transport coming to pick us up. All we gotta do is sit tight.
Don't sound too hard. I figure we earned ourselves a little R&R.
Commander, I'm detecting a massive concentration of Zerg biosignatures landing at the abandoned dig site.
I should have known it. Damn you,
I
Tychus.
swear, man, I didn't know nothing about no Zerg.
Given their current course, the Zerg will overrun this location within the hour.
Hell, we gotta hold out long enough for extraction. If we man the bunkers and hold those two bridges as long as we can, we just might stand a chance. We're gonna have a real fight on our hands here.
I've been in plenty of holdouts before.
Not against the Zerg, you ain't.
Bad news.
Now we got our holdout for just 20 minutes. So I think it was 30 minutes in the original, but
No, I'm not sure. I can double check that, but it's either 20 or 30 minutes. Regardless, it was a little bit different. I think that Brutal difficulty uses the same accelerated time that Starcraft multiplayer uses, so 1 second in game time is roughly 2/3 of a second in real time.
Complete.
Whereas in the original Starcrafts, it operated on basically real time, so if it's 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there, this one is functionally faster.
so we've got a couple of new buildings that we can check out. This is an engineering bay where you can
Complete.
purchase our upgrades. We've also got a guess the Zerger incoming.
Zerg.
So Zerglings, melee units, and a Roach, a range unit that we'll be seeing, as well as Hydra, a long-range unit, or medium range.
It's worth mentioning that the Zerglings are basically the only unit in the game squishier than Marines. Combat unit, at least.
So, as I was saying, got an engineering bay, another
Additional supply depots
add-on,
required.
the reactor.
To anyone hearing this message, we're pinned down near Backwater.
It's a reactor add-on, a little more expensive than a Tech Lab add-on, which is fine. But instead of allowing us access to higher tech units, instead it allows us to make
Additional
2
supply
units
depots required.
of low tech simultaneously. So in this case, 2 Marines at once.
So now I have a barracks with a reactor, a barracks with a tech lab, meaning I can produce 2 Marines out of one barracks and a medic out of the other. And we got some people here to save.
Well, we should go save them. No, I didn't really notice when the Zerg attacked earlier, but
Thought we were gunners there.
how much armor do the Roaches have by default? They
Additional
have 2 armor, plus, and then everybody has 1 extra armor because this is brutal and it hates you.
Roach's default is 1 armor, I think. Or 2, yeah, 1 armor.
Yeah, I know it's 1 armor in multiplayer and everything, but I don't know if it was 1 or 2 in the campaign here. Nope. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just 1.
This better be. Go ahead.
Additional supply depots required.
Looking forward to it.
So, one of the things to mention about Roaches is you can see that they do quite a bit of damage per attack, like 18 damage right now. That is painful. However, they attack very slowly.
Additional supply depots.
One thing I haven't shown off is these 2 bunkers here. We're not using them, so what we can do is salvage them and return 100% of the minerals that was used to create it. So we'll get a bunch of minerals in return for salvaging that.
Yeah, they're 100 minerals each, I believe, correct?
That's correct.
Additional supply
Oh,
depots.
well, hey, free 200 minerals. It's 4 Marines.
Additional supply depots required.
And Marines are a lot more useful than 2 bunkers that aren't doing anything.
Yeah, well, bunkers don't do anything on their own. You have to put Marines in them to have them actually do anything. Oh, something else that we mentioned, because you were preoccupied by playing the game, and I was preoccupied by not talking. We saw Zerg air units a moment ago. The Mutalisk is one of the prototypical Zerg units that was used extensively in Starcraft multiplayer in Brood War, and still in multiplayer now, but they are very fast units that do relatively little damage each, but because they're so fast, and air units don't have to spread out quite the same way that ground units do, you can effectively put a whole bunch of Mutalisks in a very small area so that all of them attack at once. Now, that being said, they're very fragile, and if they flew into that little group of Marines and medics that Roldan currently has running around the map, they would get shredded and do very little damage.
I keep letting this bunker die because I'm a noob. Need to fix that.
Should have like 2 SCVs down there just waiting to repair it.
Yeah, I should.
So the Hydralisks that just got shredded on the bridge, they are longer range Zerg units, but they're somewhere between a Roach and a Zergling in terms of damage and durability. So they actually have an absurdly high damage per second, because they attack very quickly, but they don't have the hit points and they don't have the armor of the Roach.
They're basically the Zerg Marine in some sense.
Except much more expensive.
Yeah.
And a much higher tech unit.
Add-on complete.
Because they're just like the Marine, they've got a lot of damage, but they have low health.
I will say that in Brood War, at least, they were quite obviously just better versions of Marines. They cost a little more than twice as much, but they had double the stats that Marines did in literally every way. I think they attacked the same speed, but they hit twice as hard, and they had twice the health. Same range, though.
Alright, so if you played the original mission in Brood War, you know that you could pretty easily just wipe out the Zerg, and you wouldn't actually have to do much defending. It's a little bit harder on Brutal in this difficulty, so I will not be destroying all the Zerg bases. But I do want to kind of show off some of the stuff that we can find.
Not enough minerals.
So I will be pushing out, even though that's probably not necessary.
Yeah, makes things more interesting than just watching your base for 20 minutes.
I like watching my base. We get some really threatening units here.
You see a Zerg defensive structure here.
And
Spinecrawler.
Ultralisks as well.
Oh, they have Ultralisks? Fantastic.
Yes, they have Ultralisks. That's a very
And
scary
Banelings.
unit. And Banelings.
Not enough.
So
And-
attacking into Zerg base is very, very scary.
That was probably not your best move.
Yes.
Still, given how powerful that little Zerg army was, the sheer amount of damage that Roldan was able to do with just Marines and medics is pretty insane, given the how relatively inexpensive his army was.
Yeah. That Ultralisk right there pretty much was extremely threatening. This Banling right here is incredibly threatening because it does splash damage and does a ton of damage to Marines.
So, the Banelings, the little green balloon-looking bugs that you would usually see, or will see later, rolling around instead of waddling around. They're kamikaze units that do, I think, 35 or so damage to Marines.
Yeah.
Do more
35.
damage to light units than armored units, and Marines are light units.
Not enough minerals.
Yep, it's 35 damage.
Gotcha. Yeah, they do significant damage, but they do a lot of splash, and it's one of the few ways that Zerg has splash damage. The Ultralisk, that giant, terrifying, armor-plated bug, is actually one of the highest tech units that Zerg has, if not the highest tech. is incredibly expensive, is very well armored, and dishes out and takes a lot of damage.
Alright, the attack on that bottom left hatchery didn't go so well, so let's go up here. And this looks much nicer.
Not enough minerals.
There's a lot of mutalisks here, but they die so quickly to Marines.
If you ever pay attention in a Blizzard subforum to the multiplayer threads or whatever, you'll routinely see Zerg players frustrated that mutalisks, which are fairly expensive, relatively high-tech Zerg units, are basically completely countered by the cheapest, most effective Terran unit they can build from the beginning of the game.
Not enough minerals.
And you can see why.
Yeah, Marines just shred through these forces.
Now you are getting a benefit from attacking the Zerg hatchery, or the Zerg base, right?
I believe so. I believe that there will be less troops coming at me later.
Yeah, so pushing out now, you're reducing the unit production of the Zerg, so we'll have fewer things attacking you. I don't think we should bother trying to explain all of those Zerg structures, as there will be ample time to do so later.
Not
Yes.
enough minerals.
Possibly when we actually get to the Zerg campaign.
I do want to mention how their production works, if only so that made sense. The big buildings that were up there make larvae, which are morphed into eggs, and the eggs turn into any Zerg unit. So it's a bit different than Terran, who requires a number of production structures to make stuff. And what is that?
That was a Tauren outhouse, a Tauren Space Marine that we just found.
And that outhouse just, huh. Okay, so that was worth pushing out.
We're getting tore up out there. Gotta fall back to high ground. Hold out just a little longer.
Ooh, banelings also do massive damage to structures. That's something that you won't see that often, but each baneling, if it connects to a structure, will do 80 damage to that structure.
We could use some help here. Been waiting on you. Yes, sir.
And the Zerg are just dropping creep tumors on top of your base.
One thing that we didn't mention is the creep. Unlike in the original Starcraft, the creep actually has benefits for the Zerg, and that they get a speed boost on it, which is very threatening.
So in Starcraft and Brood War, creep essentially was required for Zerg to build units, or not units, but they had to have creep to build buildings. That's the purple goop that you see all around the map here. In StarCraft 2, it does give a speed boost, but also allows Zerg players to get a lot of vision of what's going on the map.
Yeah, so creep is very nice. Or at least it's nice for the Zerg, not nice for us.
Yeah. On the other hand, in the campaign, the Zerg get a few more tricks that they won't get in multiplayer, or when we play as them in the expansion, in that they're able to drop these creep tumors from the sky.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
So, you have a little under 3 minutes to survive.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it'll be a problem to survive for us.
Think you can do it?
I think I can do it.
Okay. I'll believe you this time. Although it seems like they're starting to rain into your base now.
Yep, we got some Zerglings right in our base. They generally die pretty quickly though, so I'm not too worried.
You're attacking your SCVs.
I think I
Seems
can
like-
pretty much do hands off, just chill right now.
Just let it play out on its own, huh?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else for me to do.
Oh, hey, it looks like were the banelings rolling just now? They've moved by so
Yep.
quickly. Like,
Banelings
yeah, they are.
rolling. So these banelings are super fast.
Also, you you have an immortal medic on the other side of your bunkers. who just keeps getting targeted instead of your bunkers and survive for way too long.
Commander, this is Matt Horner. Just hold on. Cavalry's on the way.
Take your time, Matt. No rush.
Well, I'll say one thing. There are a lot of bugs.
Yep, there are a lot of bugs. It's actually being a little bit threatening.
A little bit. Amusingly, I think if they would have attacked all at once instead of trickling in like that, you would have had a much harder time surviving. Now, it is worth mentioning for anyone who would like to play along or whatever, you don't actually need to keep your entire base intact. As long as you have a single building at the end of 20 minutes, that's enough to satisfy the requirements of this mission.
And we do. We had quite a few buildings, so it's no problem.
Yeah, all you would need is one supply depot, and you're good.
Well, it's more like you use the nice lift function of your buildings.
Anyone still alive?
Yeah, that's true.
Good to see you, Matt.
That would also work.
Glad we made it in time, sir. Now let's get you boys out of there.
And once again, we failed to get our achievements. That's too sad. Too sad.
Yeah, well, you destroyed 2 of 4 Zerg hatcheries on brutal difficulty. Surely that counts, right? That's totally as good as the best defense.
Yeah, there's actually, you can kind of cheese the hatcheries destroyed, because they try to rebuild the hatcheries, and you can kill them again. So you can get that on brutal difficulty without too much trouble.
I think I actually got that on hard difficulty by just wiping the map clean.
Yeah, same here. Even on hard difficulty, it's not too hard just to completely destroy all the enemy bases.
It's because Marine Medic is a really good combination.
Yep.
It is a very cool picture.
Damn, Jimmy. You've been holding out on me.
Cutting it pretty close there, Matt.
Never left you hanging before, sir.
Fair enough. Just get us the hell out of here.
All batteries, concentrate forward firepower. Spin up drives 2 and 6. All hands brace for warp jump on my mark. Mark.
What the hell happened? We ain't seen the Zerg in years. Why attack Marsara now?
It's not just Marsara. You need to see this.
Zerg Swarm launched a full-scale attack.
Devastation spread throughout all outer
Can't help but notice that some of the ports on the back of the battlecruiser look very similar to the ports on Tychus's suit.
Dominion Military Research Facility.
Sweet mother of mercy.
New exclusive video footage confirms the Queen of Blades is in fact leading the swarm.
We always knew she'd be back, but what's she after?
She's come to finish the job.
Well, the plot
No
thickens,
telling what the Zerg will throw against us this time.
such as it
We
is.
need to make sure our hardware and munitions are up to the challenge.
Yeah, I'll check in with Swan down the armory. Knowing him, he's already got upgrades for us.
I hate to ask, sir, but is there a reason that convict's still on my bridge?
Easy, Matt. Tychus is one of my oldest friends. He helped me out of a real bind a few years back. I owe him.
Well, your friend has a criminal record as long as...
Mine? Believe me, if Tychus Finley wanted me dead, I'd be dead already.
Understood, sir.
Alright, and our new lobby area. We have arrived.
Yes. Get used to seeing this. It's going to be here for pretty much the rest of the game.
This is the flagship Hyperion, Jim Raynor's.
Which he stole from the Terran Dominion. I think it was in Brood War, actually.
Yeah, I think so. But, yeah, we like taking things from the Dominion.
They have all this nice stuff just laying around.
One hell of a ship you got here, Jimmy. How'd you get a hold of a floating palace like this?
The Hyperion was Meng's flagship back in the day. Me and Matt decided to borrow her when we parted company with him. This old baby's seen us through some tight spots.
Speaking of tight spots, Tychus, why are you still wearing that suit on my bridge?
Yeah. What'd you bust the zipper or something?
Okay. So I might have had a little help when I broke out of prison. Let's just say it came at a price. I get to stay locked up in this suit till I pay off all my debts.
And who's collecting those debts? Who sprung you?
They're Mobius boys, of course. I didn't just run into them in a museum, you know. They want them artifacts something fierce.
Your debts better not bite us in the ass, Tychus. Covering for your shenanigans ain't part of the deal. Just how bad is it, Matt?
Zerg are attacking all over the sector, sir. Mengsk pulled the fleet back to protect the Dominion core worlds, leaving the fringe worlds to fend for themselves. It's a nightmare.
There's no way we can stop an alien invasion with one capital ship and a handful of volunteers.
Best we just stay clear, partner. We can earn ourselves a fortune working for Mobius while this whole thing blows over.
You don't get it, convict. This isn't gonna just blow over. The Zerg won't stop until we're all dead.
Don't worry, Matt. We ain't sitting this one out. But we're not exactly in tip-top shape either. We'll earn some cash and build up our forces so we can make a difference when it counts.
One thing we have here is the mission archives, where you can check out any of our previous missions and redo them if we want to get those sweet achievements.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that you need to do if you wish to see everything in the game. Oh, and by the way, fun fact, Matt Horner, a newish character for this game, is voiced by Brian Bloom. Just throwing that out there.
What do you got for me, Swan?
The usual, building up our standing forces.
Bringing my troops and hardware up to speed, huh?
Yup, you can add upgrades for their tech right here on the console. But building an army on the run ain't cheap. You brought back credits this time, right?
Look, I know money's been tight. But that artifact we just picked up from Marsara is gonna solve everything.
Yeah, I've heard that before, brother.
It's different this time.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
We got our armory now that we can appear, and our mechanic Swan.
The best character in the game.
A lot of gaps in our inventory right now.
I've got to say, I really like the touch that the console that you can see in the introductory cutscene with Swan has the exact same interface as what comes up on the screen when you click it.
Yeah, and you can actually see that there is a bunch of units here that we don't have yet.
Yeah.
But let's check this out. And now we can spend our money.
Yes, so I guess we should probably go through the options and the relative utility of any of them.
Yep. So let's start with these Marine options. As we said before, the Marine is extremely powerful, extremely useful, so anything that upgrades them makes them even better.
Yes. Both of the upgrades that the Marine gets are basically always researched in multiplayer games.
Yeah. Well, any game where you use Marines.
Which is all of them. pretty much.
Well, someone doesn't mech very often.
Yeah, well, someone doesn't play Terran, so... Anyway.
So,
Combat
two
shields.
upgrades. Combat shields just increases life by 10. Definitely helps their survivability. And then stim packs, which basically allows your entire force to be 50% more effective, which is amazing.
Yes, and one of the reasons the combat shield is so good isn't just that you get the 10 HP maximum, but if you'll notice, stim packs do 10 damage. So functionally, combat shield cancels out the first stim that your Marines are going to be doing. They won't be any worse than they would be otherwise.
Yeah. The 10 health is just really helpful for a lot of reasons. For our medic, we've got advanced medic facilities, so medics no longer require tech labs, so you can just reactor them out, so you don't need to actually put tech labs on your barracks.
Yes, and that also means that if you had a reactored barracks, you can make Marines and medics simultaneously from the same reactor. I think that has some utility, but I don't actually know how great that is.
Right. One upgrade we can't afford is the stabilizer med packs, which basically just improves your medics so they heal faster and take less energy.
Yeah, if you're going to be playing through the campaign and utilize medics a lot, it's absolutely indispensable.
Yes. The less energy per heal, not that useful, but even 25% faster is incredibly useful. We also have some bunker upgrades. Projectile accelerator to increase the range of units in the bunker. Interestingly, this is actually on by default in the multiplayer. All bunkers automatically get this +1 range.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like that when Wings of Liberty came out, or if you had to research it in the multiplayer, but basically as things were patched or changed or tweaked in the multiplayer game, the campaigns were completely untouched. So.
Yes. And then additionally you got Neo Steel bunkers, so additional 2 slots meaning you can put 6 Marines in each bunker. I probably will not be using the bunker pretty much at all. So I don't think I'm going to get these upgrades. I'm not even going to...
Not even up to a vote, huh?
No, they're just going to be useless, and I'm never going to show it off. So...
Makes sense. Yeah, I find this worth mentioning. If the little video in the lower right-hand corner is correct, then Neo Steel Bunker doesn't actually change the appearance of your bunkers, but in multiplayer it makes them look very different.
Right. I guess when we get to multiplayer we can show it off, even though it's a useless upgrade there as well.
Yeah.
But so we have 3 useful upgrades that we could get. Stim packs, combat shields, and advanced medic facilities.
So, are we going to have them vote for one of them for next time? Or are we just going to say, this is what we have now, we'll figure it out later?
Vote on one of these, and we can pick it up next time, going into our 4th mission.
So speaking of missions, do we still only have, do we have a mission choice yet?
We do have a mission choice. So now that we're at the Hyperion, we have options.
We picked up a distress call from the planet Agria. There's a colony there under attack by the Zerg. Your convict buddy Tychus lined up a mission retrieving another artifact. It's on a Protoss shrine world called Monolith.
Alright, so we have 2 missions that we can take.
Any ship receiving this transmission. The Zerg are invading Agria. The Dominion abandoned us here. We're just a small farming colony. We've got to evacuate before we're overrun. If you can hear this message, please help us.
So we can help a colony trying to get to the Zerg, evacuate.
The Mobius boys think there's another artifact.
See, so what else would that give us? We'd get 100,000 credits, which is pretty nice, but we'd also get fire bats, which are okay.
The Tal'Darim. Now don't get all sentimental, thinking these Tal'Darim are your old Protoss buddies. 'Cause they ain't.
Alright, and our second mission is another smash and grab job. Mission smash and grab, excellent. And we'll fight the Protoss this time. And get a Marauder. So, basically 2 options. One, attack the Zerg, and one against the Protoss. We have this research opportunities here. We don't quite know what that is yet, but we'll get into that when we actually get the research.
Sounds promising.
Alright, so where do we want to go? Do we want to go to Agria or Monolith?
Yes, so that means that you, listening at home, get to choose what the first unit upgrade will be, in addition to where we fight next.